The agency is dysfunctional, but I would say there is a lot of work to do to get us to where we need to be.
The new head of the embattled Department of Children and Families is talking to Local 10 tonight following the deaths of 2 more children who were under the department's care. In total, 7 children have died in recent months while under the care of DCF.
And the interim director of DCF, Miamian Esther Jacobo, says she's deeply disturbed by these deaths. She spoke this afternoon with Local 10 senior political reporter Michael Putney. And Michael, I'm curious to hear, what does she plan to stop this from happening on her watch?
She is tightening procedures, Calvin and Christie, up and down the line. Esther Jacobo says everyone at DCF who comes in contact with a child who is in danger has to remember what they do is a matter of life and death. Too often in recent months, death has been the tragic outcome for kids when DCF failed to protect them from abusive parents.
A child must not remain in a home if they are unsafe, and we cannot make that home safer.
That's the message Interim DCF Chief Esther Jacobo is sending to her staff, especially in South Florida, where there has been a rash of deaths, 5 in recent months, of children whose homes were investigated by DCF.
You know, my first task is to make sure that our line staff understands and lives every day the fact that they're responsible for families and children's lives.
One problem Jacobo faces is state law that sets a goal of keeping the child in the home, even if it's risky. Brian Osceola remained in his home despite his mother's drinking problem. She left him to die in a hot car.
Everyone should be asking hard questions about these cases, and no one needs to take offense when you're questioned about what you're doing on a case. And I think that there is a certain reluctance by some to speak up, right? And there's a certain offense some people take when they're questioned. And that, in this business, that cannot happen.
Jacobo is in charge at DCF, but only for 90 days, unless Governor Scott asks her to stay on. Children's advocate Howard Talenfeld hopes she does.
Even in the wake of some very serious and disturbing deaths, she's opened the books of the agencies, opened the records, and said to the media, to the advocates, to the public, we're going to be accountable.
Howard Talenfeld is a Fort Lauderdale attorney. Esther Jacobo has already made some big changes at DCF. Last night, for example, she released this normally confidential investigative report about the 2 most recent deaths of children who were under the care of DCF. This shows what DCF did right in those cases and what it did wrong.
And it's fair not to point at the last 2 deaths and say she's partly responsible for that.
I don't think you can hold her accountable for these deaths. These are people and procedures well in place before she became the interim director. She's only got 90 days.
Yeah.
Let's see
how much can you change in 90 days?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Michael, thanks.